All right, 7th graders. We are going to be moving into the distance between two rational numbers. All right, so we're up to lesson 6, and we got a lot of work to do and a lot of catching up to do. So be prepared. We're going to be doing a lot of this pretty quick. All right, I want to apologize for the way the video is going to sound. My headset is kind of a little acting weird, so just bear with me. All right. So exercise 1, we're on page S33 in my book, which means it should be, I'm hoping, S36 in yours. Okay? S36 in yours, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? But this is lesson 6, the distance between two rational numbers. Okay? So using the number line to answer each of the following problems. Okay? So I'm going to do person A. Okay? You guys, for homework tonight, are going to do person B. So let's go ahead and get that understood now. You guys are going to do person B. I'm going to do person A. And then we're going to see whether or not we get the same answers. Okay. Now, I want to know the distance between -4 and 5. So here's a -4. Here's a +5. So how many units are there between a -4 and 5? Well, let's see. We got, let me give me a nice little pen here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 units. So the distance is 9. Okay? So we look at the distance between a -5 and a -3. Here's a -5. Here's a -3. So what's the distance between a -5 and a -3? So we add 1 and 2. So the distance is 2 units. Okay, there are 2 units between a -5 and a -3. So what's the distance between 7 and a -1? Okay, so again, we sit here and we find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 units. And you remember what I said. Distance is always going to be positive. Distance will always be positive. You will never have a negative distance. You will have a positive distance. Okay? So distance is always going to be positive. All right. So again, person B is your homework tonight. So let's continue on to the distance between two rational numbers. Okay. All right. So use the number line to answer each of the following questions. We are looking at what is the distance between 0 and a -8. So here's 0. And here's a -8. So we need to find the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So again, we are looking at 8 units in distance. Okay. What's the distance between a -2 and a -1/2? Well, it can't be a full. It's got to be what? A half unit of distance. Okay? It's only a half unit of distance. It's not that far to go from a -2 to a -1/2. All right? So C, that's going to be homework tonight for you. That should be easy to do. What's the distance between a -6 and a -10? Easy peasy. All right? So let's take a look at example 1. Find the distance between a -3 and 2. Okay, so -3 and 2. Count the number of units from the endpoint you started on to the other endpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's 5 units. So using a formula, we can determine the distance between 2 points. And the best part about it is they give you a lot of the information down here. For two rational numbers, P and Q, the distance between P and Q is P minus Q and the absolute value of it. So the absolute value of P minus Q is the distance. So let's see if that's true. Let's do a couple more problems to see if we can actually prove that. Okay. All right, so we are going to work on Let's see. Let's come over here to example 2. We're going to work on example 2. All right, and then we're going to see where we go from next. So distance is positive. Wow! Have I not been saying that for days? Distance is positive. So change in elevation or temperature may be positive or negative depending on whether it is increasing or decreasing. So a change in elevation or temperature may be positive or negative depending on whether it's increasing or decreasing. That's the whole, the 25,000 feet above sea level versus 600 feet below sea level thing. Or 42 degrees outside versus a negative 32 degrees outside. Okay? Now, a hiker starts hiking at the beginning of the trail at a point which is 200 feet below sea level. He hikes to a location on the trail that's 580 feet above sea level and stops for lunch. What is the vertical distance between 200 feet below sea level and 580 feet above sea level? So it wants to know the vertical distance. How many feet did this guy travel from A to B? Okay? So, if we use the information that the absolute value of P, and I did peg, I don't know why I'm trying to do peg, P minus Q is our formula, then we should be able to find the answer to this. Okay? So we know 200 feet below sea level is recognized as being a negative 200 feet, and we know 580 feet above sea level is positive. So if I'm saying the absolute value of a negative 280 feet, or sorry, negative 200 feet, negative 200 feet minus 580 feet is the answer, then I should know that the absolute value of a negative 200 plus a negative 580 should be my answer. Well, I know that the answers here, my two values here, my two terms, have negatives, so I'm going to have a negative answer at the moment. 200 plus 580 is going to be 780 feet, but I'm not done. I got the absolute value signs. Absolute value converts any negative number automatically to a positive, 780 feet. That's our answer. So how should we interpret 780 feet in the context of this problem? Well, the change in elevation was 780 feet from the original starting point. Okay? Now, I gave you A. I want you to do B. B is going to be your homework tonight, okay? And once you get done with that, you're done for the night, okay? No fancy extra information, all right? I don't want to overwhelm you too much. We're going to talk about, we're going to do exercises 3 and 4 in class tomorrow. And then you've got this as your classwork. So be prepared, okay? No cheating and getting it done early, all right? So this is going to be our classwork tomorrow, all right? And we need to work on trying to get y'all to understand how to use Office Lens. So we're going to work on that too. All right, guys. You have a good night. Short, easy, sweet lesson tonight. I will see y'all bright and early tomorrow. I hope all of y'all watch the video.